I think that's going to be us for today. So I'll hand over to Pete to give us the lowdown on getting more of those direct bookings and saving ourselves a bit of money on the OTAs, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks, Robin, and morning, everyone. I seem to remember quite a few from the last time I did this, but hi to everyone. Nice to be chatting. Prepared a slide deck, as is my way, which I'll share my screen. And Kat's going to recognise this one very well, because we actually did a series of webinars, Clockwork, marketing her work with Hoteliers and Best Loved, and I suggested to Robin that this I could redo this in some format for his group. So Kat may well want to chip in as we go through, because she did some of the presenting last time. You may want to just go, Kat, because you know it all.
I always learn something when I listen to you do this.
Right. Okay. We thought this is such a great topic. You know, Robin says everyone wants to reduce their OTA commissions, and we see a huge variety of different amounts of business coming into different properties through OTAs. Some as little as sort of 5–10% through OTAs, some up to 70–80%, which kind of makes you want to cry, really, because it shouldn't really be that way. So this is how we think you can try and capture some of those bookings directly. So what we're going to look at sort of three big areas, really, which is firstly customer acquisition, trying to get your customers to your website; customer engagement, which is engaging them on your website; and then conversion, which is having a great booking engine and how you can set that up to try and get them to book with you on your website. So quite at that level, quite straightforward, but then there's a lot to do, and you kind of need a book direct strategy really for this. So talk a bit about what that means, and also understanding how customers buy. Certainly behavior's changed a lot through the pandemic, because of in the last 2 years, people couldn't couldn't honor their bookings, or had to move their dates, or just weren't allowed out. It's basically made people book really late and shop around a lot, and become more fickle. So to get around this, you need to be in the market all the time, which is hard work doing marketing all the time. And you need to have a really strong, memorable brand, so you're the one that stands out amongst all the other competitors. And thirdly, just a fantastic mobile first website with a fantastic booking engine. The sort of pillars you need. A bit of stats around how people book and plan their holiday. It says here 45% of UK travellers feel comfortable researching planning on their mobile. So we see most of our hotel clients get at least 50, sometimes 60% of their traffic on a mobile. I'm sure you've all got one sitting in front of you. It's just where everyone goes. And 82% of all travels booked in 2018, obviously a bit of a while ago, made online. I can only see that increasing. And then my favourite stat from the Mirror: 43% of British holiday makers spend longer researching and booking their holiday than the duration of their trip, which is hilarious. I think what they mean is the planning phase is very, very long for booking a trip, rather than the actual, spending 2 weeks browsing websites. But people, spend a lot of time on it, and to many, like me, maybe not everyone, it's a bit of a chore. Some people absolutely love it, want that planning and research and dreaming, but a lot of people, just want to book it and get something done. So to make their lives as easy as possible will mean you'll more like to win their business. And the benefits of a direct booking strategy, well, it should create better customer loyalty rather than people being loyal to the OTAs. and you should reduce your commission costs to the OTAs, which will help increase your hotel revenue. So it's pretty strong reasons to do this. And one of the first things you need to do before you really start doing the work is setting up tracking, because if you're not tracking your direct bookings, then you don't know if you're successful. And you can do this in Google Analytics. It's a free tool, and you can configure it with most booking engines, so you can see the revenue that comes from the different marketing channels. I won't spend ages explaining all the different marketing channels, but this is real data from a typical hotel, and it's very normal to see a massive amount of revenue from organic search, which means Google, which means people going to Google and typing in whatever they want to type in, best boutique hotel in Wales, or you know, luxury spa break in Cornwall, whatever they're typing in, getting to the hotel's website and then making their booking. Absolutely essential to understand how that's working, because otherwise the rest of this presentation doesn't really make any sense. You don't really know if you're doing the right thing or not. So just come back to where I started, and then I'll kick into the main bit. You know, there's three big parts to the booking direct strategy: acquisition, getting your customers to your website; the engagement, getting great messages and packages on your website; and then the conversion part, just having an awesome converting booking engine. So let's look at each one of those three sections. Customer acquisition. I'm using this model, which you may recognize if you've done any sort of business degree type training. It's called AIDA, and it stands for awareness, interest, desire, and action. And they're the sort of 4 steps that many consumers go through when making a purchase. And I've added visit to the bottom to make it a bit more hospitality relevant. But you know, sadly to say, for most you know, not just hotels, most businesses, you know, raising awareness is the first part of the game. You know, people won't have heard of you unless you're like a massive brand. So you've got to first raise awareness that you even exist before you can start pushing people through the funnel, getting them interested in your product, driving desire, and then driving action, which is, you know, making a purchase. And this is where all the marketing lives, really, is in these sort of 5 sections. And broadly, to help drive awareness, there's lots of search engine optimization, which is getting ranked in Google, basically, with great landing pages. And you can use non-branded Google ads there, you know, such as, you know, best luxury hotel type ads. And social media as well is also good for raising awareness. Social media kind of works across all of these, really, but it's good for awareness. To drive interest, that's where you want really great website copy, and you know, offers and blogs, and where you can also start using remarketing. Once you've got someone to your website, you can start doing remarketing. The desire phase, you know, so you can use your branded Google ads, you know, the property testimonials from other customers. UGC is user generated content, so that's social content that's created by your customers. You know, winning awards is great. Doing social ads and sending out emails with great offers, these are all going to help drive desire. And hopefully get to the action phase. I mean, the ultimate action is making a booking. There's other actions like watching a video or downloading a menu, signing up to a newsletter, but I really want bookings. And then I added visit in, because you can still do marketing when once people have made a visit. You can do pre-sale emails to help upsell, you know, maybe dining or spa treatments. Within the property, you can start encouraging them to post, do your user-generated content. You can upsell with gift vouchers, and you can do post-stay emails as well. And people that do visit, they don't have to go back to the top of the funnel. You know, you've already done that hard work. You just have to send them back up to the desire and sell them the next thing. So that's all quite theoretical. I'll do a few quick practical tips. You know, how you actually do some of this stuff. It's got a couple of tips across a couple of different channels on Instagram. It's Instagram stories. This feature's been around for a while, but it's only really been unlocked recently for most, because you needed like 10,000 followers before. But now anyone can do it when you're creating a story. That's the first image on the left. It's sort of quite near me in Devon, Burr Island. But if you tap on the sticker icon, which is the third from the right at the top, then you get the next screen, and down the bottom of that screen it says link. It's the sort of in the middle column, second row up. That's hard to describe. If you click on that, then you can create a link on your story, but like book now, which is quite cool. So that's a nice little tip. Not a lot of people know that that's hidden in there. You know, when you get people to your website, that means you can start doing remarketing, which is a fantastic way of displaying adverts to people. There's two broad types. You can use Facebook Pixel, which is just a sort of free bit of code you get from Facebook to pop on your website, and that will identify anyone who comes to your website and tie it to their Facebook and Instagram account, so you can show them ads specific to your property on Facebook and Instagram. And then you can also create audiences in Google Analytics, which you can use for retargeting ads as well. So another super important tip. I mean, it's fairly technical, but you know, once set up, you know, it works pretty well. And capturing email addresses is really, really important. These should be really engaged people. So getting them when they come to your website, or when they make a booking, or when they're in the property. You know, obviously, if booking.com won't give you the email address, so it's really important that you get the front office staff to capture that, and then you can start building your list up. You know, you want, well, there's no minimum number you need, or no maximum number. You know, 10,000 plus will be, you know, really good. So you can start sending great email offers. And then the last one is using the right affiliates. There's plenty of people you can link to if you need to do push offers out. I wouldn't use people like Groupon and Travelzoo. Customers are loyal to Groupon and Travelzoo, they're not loyal to you, so I'd steer away from those, and I'd go for ones that you can align your brand to, such as Best Loved or World Rainbow Hotels. See Kat for more info on these two, part of her portfolio. But you know, find the ones that are, you know, aligned to your brand, not just bargain basement discount stores. A little bit on the engagement side. So I've just been talking about acquisition, which is driving people to your website. So then when they get to your website, then you've got to engage them. I won't spend ages explaining this chart, but we have worked with hundreds of hotel properties and do anonymous benchmarking, so we can help properties understand where they are against various metrics. One of them is engagement. So on this chart, the left-hand end is the good end, where property 33, you know, they're getting a lot of their website visitors to look at a lot of pages, spend quite a lot of time on their site. We just want people to slow down, you know, look at the pictures, read the words, really get your brand. And then the brown bar is the bounce rate, which you want to be low. You want that's a sort of negative thing. So the left-hand end's a good end, the right-hand end's a bad end. Clients always want to know where they are. And broadly, people with a newer website where they've thought about it, improved the navigation, rewritten the words, got great photography, great videos, nice navigation, super fast, works on a mobile. They're the people up on the left-hand end. And just sort of dipping a bit more into the website design, how you can make it better for getting direct bookings. I said about 3 times already, you want a really fast mobile website, but that's because it's the most important thing. And then a really easy to use booking engine. And then, you know, slide outs and pop outs could be pretty useful. I mean, you've got to be careful with them because they can score negatively for Google, but if they're not too intrusive, they work well, and that's where you can really hammer home your the value of booking direct. You don't always have to give things away, but just, you know, making sure that the customer really understands that you know, they're paying the same price and all the lovely benefits that come with the hotel. But you know, if like the top example there in the black box, you know, you want to give a bottle of champagne away, that's great. You know, we have clients offer all sorts of things. Some offer free parking, people that book direct and charge booking.com customers for parking. There's lots of different ways you can do it. Something that doesn't need to cost necessarily loads, but something that you can include that the OTAs can't include. And then, like I talked about with the marketing side, you can, once you've got them to your site, you can reinforce these messages with your emails and social ads. And thinking about your packages is really important. I'm sure everyone does packages and they go, yeah, I know this, Pete, but making packages or special offers that are special rather than just packaging up dinner, bed and breakfast and bed and breakfast. You've got to make it stand out and desirable and emotion led rather than just price led. If you've got, I'm sure you've got a USP, understanding your USP and then creating packages around that, be a great place to start. So if you've got a fantastic chef and you want to offer a gourmet break, or if you've got a lovely city location and you want to offer a city break, or just want people to stay longer and offer a Sunday sleepover, there's lots of different packages you can create. You don't want to create loads of packages, but we normally say maybe 3. So you want like a signature one, such as a gourmet or a spa break. And then you probably want a seasonal one. So, you should be getting your autumn offers up, autumn tasting menu, whatever that's going to be. And you might want one, more of a late availability one, but not that's there all the time when you just genuinely have late availability. If you've already got late availability on your website all the time, then it's not really a special offer. It's just it doesn't make people buy in advance. You just wait because they know they can get a deal. But sometimes you need to obviously resort to that. So that's a bit on the website, and then just going to finish off with the sort of booking engine part. And Kat may want to jump in a bit more because it's her area. Because we don't build or sell website, we don't build or sell booking engines at Clockwork, but we just see a lot of booking engines. So all our clients have them. And I'm going to start off with another funnel that we use for our clients, website funnel. We've got everyone coming to a website at the top and people making a booking down at the bottom. We just do this kind of data investigation every now and then, just to help to understand how clients are performing across all these areas. So you might have 75,000 people coming to your website. Just get a cup of tea. So then here we've got 48% of people browsing 3 pages. We think browsing 3 pages is a good measure of engagement. So we set that up in Google Analytics to track that. Starting the booking process is an absolute key metric for us. Doing all that hard work, getting and all that marketing to get people to your website. Fantastic, super fast website, great messaging on it. Got to get people to click the booking button, find out what your prices are and the availability. Absolute key metric there. And we always want to get at least 20% of people clicking that booking button. We know that once you've seen the prices and availability, they're going to go and look at a load of other competitors. That's completely normal. So you really drop off visitors after that, but then some will return to book direct. And the next big step in that is entering personal details. And then the final step is putting your credit card in, and that says 1.3%. And that's a bit meaningless as a sort of kind of number because like good or bad, which is why I put the revenue on there, £268,000. And everyone in business goes, yep, that's a good number. Don't mind some of that. It's always great to have a higher conversion. So 1.3 is your conversion rate. It's always great to have a higher number, but the real bottom line there is the actual revenue. And very broadly, that top one is measuring digital marketing, which is what I talked about at the beginning about acquisition. Those next two are measuring the engagement, which is what I talked about after that. And then the bottom one's measuring the booking engine. And you have different amounts of control over each one. You can always try and do more marketing and get more people in the top. You can always try and improve your website, and different booking engines perform differently. Some we see perform much better than others. See Kat for more info. She works with quite a good one. So, and understanding how the booking engines, perform is so important, which is why I said right at the beginning, set up tracking first, because you've really got to understand how your booking engine is performing. It might be great booking engine, but you still need to know how well it's doing. You don't need to change everything all the time. And this slides from some American data, but I think it's still pretty relevant. The 5th biggest reason for abandonments is just a too long, complicated checkout process. I mean, I think we all would recognize that in our online buying. So what can you do about it? Well, I've got these tips from Kat, actually. There's 3 there: keeping it simple, transparent, and quick. I'll just finish on these 3. So, you know, keeping it simple, you know, ease of use is obviously pretty key. Not having loads of pop-ups. So I talked about having pop-ups for messaging, but when you really get into the booking engine, you don't want it being covered by pop-ups, and you can get penalized by Google, particularly on a mobile, because pop-ups can just completely cover the screen, and Google think that's a bad user experience. And sorry to read my notes. Yeah, so you want to make sure you don't have too much choice as well, which is why I was saying don't have too many packages, you don't want too many room types, rate types. There's an idea called a paradox of choice, where if you give people too much choice, they just don't make a decision. You know, you really don't need many more than sort of 2 or 3. You know, do you want to come, you know, this color, that color, or that color? You know, just pick one of those. You don't want to have to make people work and figure out what the difference is if I stay this time or this one, or if I add that in, and if I do one of these as well, and what's the price for this? You know, it's got to be really simple. And coming on to the next one, linking into prices, the transparency, being really clear with the pricing, not making people do maths in their head. You know, really clear costs, you know what it costs, you know, clear room description, what you're going to get, you know, no hidden charges. You know, if there's extra tax from a city, tourist tax, make sure that's included, or an extra cost for a dog or whatever. You know, just make it really clear. You know, really clear cancellation, refunds, you know, deposits. You know, just make sure there's no hidden surprises. And if you have that sort of level of transparency, it just builds much better trust, which should hopefully lead to a higher conversion. And the final part, which I also talked about at the beginning, is making it really quick and easy. If you're creating offers, like I was saying earlier, Glorious Getaway 2-night bed and breakfast, on the left hand side is on the website. Just make sure that it's exactly the same in the booking engine. I mean, it seems really obvious, but make sure it just links. You can click the website button to book now, goes into the booking engine to that offer, with the same rates, you know, and the same words. So people can, you know, you can drive people to your website with an offer. They can see the offer, and then they can go and book it nice and easily. And I've got to say, during the packages and offers bit, that's one of your secret weapons that OTAs can't do. They can't create offers. They don't have that functionality. All they offer is bed and breakfast and dinner, bed and breakfast. So, you know, this is where you can really stand out. I don't know if Kat wants to add anything to the booking engine part, because this is her super skill.
So thank you, Pete. We have seen a lot of activity over the last year, particularly on the staycation market. And one of the key bits of feedback is when you're doing any marketing, when there's any promotion that's offered. So for example, I saw an advert for a 89 something euro, but it was per person per night. And as soon as it was PPN and I clicked through, and it was so confusing, and I look at it every day. So really want to reiterate, keep it simple. If you're doing a promotion, if you're doing something on Instagram, for example, have the same words and the same information flowing through all the way to the booking engine. And if it's for a specific set of dates, for example, so if Ed Sheeran's playing, or if there's a particular theatre performance that's happening and you're tying it in with marketing around that, have the link directly into the booking engine. So you can either do that in your link tree, or now with the links that Peter's shown directly from the post, but have that link going directly to the dates for that event or promotion. so that people can see. So it's for the October half term. We're expecting a lot of staycations for the October half term again. Link those people directly into that that date, and finally make sure that you've got your adults and child set up correct, so that if you're doing a half term promotion, you can actually take bookings for 2 adults and 2 children, or 1 adult and 3 children, etc., as your property allows. Those would be my 2 biggest tips. Make sure that you're offering on the front end in Instagram or wherever is going directly into your booking engine, and make sure that your offering is also, and this is obvious, but fully bookable, that you can actually book 2 adults, 2 children, or whatever the offering is. You know, it's 2-night bed and breakfast. Okay, if I add a 3rd person, does that make sense? Does the breakfast cost for the other person get added? You know, is it really simple for me as a booker? That's my thoughts there on that.
Thanks, Kat. Thanks for that. I'll answer other questions in a minute. Just wanted to end up with actually saying who I am. I know I didn't start that way. I thought I'd go straight into it, but so I've worked for Clockwork Marketing not for 30 years. Company's been going 30 years. I've been working for them for 6 years. And in case you wanted to know, this is what we do. So you know, not the booking engine side, but all the bits leading up to that, really. Websites, branding, digital marketing, gift vouchers, and you know, through the pandemic, we launched a new service as well. So the left-hand side's been going for 30 years. The right-hand side's been going for about a bit over a year, I suppose. Created a whole load of learning content for hospitality businesses. We found that a lot of our clients on the left-hand side are sort of 4-star, aspiring 3-star properties, which kind of limits the market a little bit. So we create a whole suite for much wider hospitality industry. Work across the UK, loads of, I mean, it's just a tiny snapshot of some of the brands we work with. I'm sure you recognise many of these. And beginning of the year, yeah, we partnered with Best Love to deliver a whole load of webinars, which we're it's what the ones we did last year. We're going to be doing a whole load of new ones starting this month, actually. So if you want more info on that, you can contact me or Kat. Get on the invite list. The first one's going to be about gift vouchers, because we're coming to a key gift voucher season. 80% of the sales through our gift voucher tool happen in November and December. It's just absolutely huge, and so important to get an online e-commerce shop working there. But anyway, sorry, stop talking about me, and happy to answer any questions or discuss as required. Hope that was useful for everyone.
Catherine.
So it's been a year since I've been out of the lovely world of websites, booking engines, GDS, etc. Kat's lovely to see you. I'm interested because it's been a while, and you've mentioned quite a lot the importance of having you know, a very good booking engine that supports the website. Is Synexis still #1, or have there been some new, had to get it in there, have there been some new players? Has anything changed in the last year as a result of the pandemic?
I don't know who you're asking, but I can answer my way.
I'm asking you.
Well, so Kat, I mean, Kat can answer her own way. Yeah, what we see as Synexis is being fantastic, and certainly, you know, every hotel should be looking at that and speaking to Kat to see if it's the right fit for them. There's a couple of new ones. So Muse is one that springs to mind, and they've bought Hotel Perfect. So Hotel Perfect's not going to be a thing anymore. I assume Muse want everyone to move over to their platform. But then I'm not really the expert in the nuances of all the different platforms. So from what we see, yeah, Synexis works fantastically.
I think what I've seen is that Synexis is like the booking engine part of it, isn't it? I find a lot of the latest PMS systems have all incorporated their own booking engine, which goes right through to the actual the sites, as it were. Muse Muse is a bit restricted because it's just tends to do booking.com. It doesn't do all the rest of them. But you sort of like Hop has got access to all the major ones. Room Raccoon is its recent one that's come on the market as well, has got access to most of the things. So I think the trend now is to almost cut out Synexis altogether, and SiteMinders and all the rest of it, and just make sure that the PMS actually has access directly through to those OTAs. Would you agree, Kat?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really, really interesting thing, and there are companies that are pushing that narrative now. We work very closely with Muse, for example, with Guestline as another PMS, with Hop, and with a lot of PMSs that do have their own booking engine. Now, Pete never shows a particular slide in an open forum, but I have seen a slide, and Triptease also have a very similar slide which shows, and you know, any company that works with a number of different booking engines has similar stats. There are three important things with booking engines. The first one is conversion. When somebody gets into the booking engine, and it's black and white, you know, it is what percentage converts on a massive level, which booking engines actually convert better. And we know, because we see it with our own hotels, and I know that Catherine, you and I were on opposite sides of the selling fence, but now we're you've moved over to the green side, whereas I'm still on the dark side of signing everybody up. The Synexis booking engine simply converts better than, and alarmingly better than, certain other companies. But that's only part of the thing. You know, conversion is incredibly important, but the next thing is integrations. And those integrations come in terms of integrations with the property management system. So you want a complete view of the guest. You know, when a reservation's made, you want real-time live availability on your booking engine, but you also want that reservation to be delivered into your property management system. If you have a revenue management system, you want your own booking engine to really be optimized and making the most out of that. If you have a customer relationship management tool, or a marketing tool, you need those integrations. So user experience for the booker is very important, but user experience for the hotelier, for the accommodation provider, is equally important, I would say, and those integrations. And then the third thing, which kind of is integrations as well, is payments, payment gateways, payment providers, PCI compliance, the double, all of the finance phrases that I can't get off the tip of my tongue, because of two-factor authentication and all of those things. Your booking engine now has to be able to take full prepayment in advance, because people are willing to book that. I know personal friends of mine, and anecdotally with the West London mummies, they have prepaid for their hotels in Norfolk and on the Isle of Mull. You know, for that October half term, it's big, it's a massive staycation. They're willing to prepay, but the booking engine has to be able to allow that. And also for events like, say, Henley Regatta next year or Wimbledon next year. So that's payment gateways. And the other part of payment gateways, so payment gateways, hugely important for the booker. Secondly, payment gateways, hugely important for the accommodation provider, because, and Robin, you'll know more about this much more than I will, the cost of payment processing. You know, what are the costs and what are the risks and what are the things to be aware of for an accommodation provider when they're receiving a booking? Because do you want to get that from booking.com and just hand that, let the booker hand that money to booking.com? Literally, like, prepay booking.com and pay you at a later stage? Do you want to take deposits? How are you going to manage deposits? Because you can't take a deposit and spend that. You have to hold a deposit. You can't, you know, because you may have to pay that deposit back if it's Do you see what I mean? So there's Synixis, yeah, on the front end, and the conversion is, I think, the best. I am biased, but I know that other people have stats. But also it's about the back end, and it's about payments, it's about PMS integration, it's about marketing. Yeah, so that you can you tell I'm passionate about this?
Yeah, and I mean, because we don't work in hotels, we work in the marketing side. To us, I don't really care what PMS is being used. To me, that's internal, operational. It's got to be great. You've got to be able to check people in and out and add the bar bill and so on. We just want a great booking engine so that we know that the marketing we're going to do is more likely to convert.
Do you find that it's like, yeah, you get the marketing, and a lot of places just do fall down on that process? You know, they manage to get the message out, and then they do fall down before the actual person gets to book it, because the rest of it isn't in place properly.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we broadly do similar levels of marketing for all our clients, and they all have different booking engines, and it seems that certain booking engines perform much better than others. Seems a common thing there is the choice of booking engine, because we try and do the best work we can for all our clients.
I think something as well as this important is responsiveness, and it's the responsiveness of marketing, revenue and sales within a hotel. And an example that came up recently was, and excuse my lack of words about cricket, but the last day of a test didn't actually happen because it was resolved before the last day. My husband was watching it and he was commenting on this, and I was like, okay, gosh, what happens to all of those hotel rooms all of a sudden, that the people who have actually booked to go to the last day, what happens? Or if something's called off for rain, how responsive can you be to do a promotion straight away on Instagram and to your mailing list, for example, to say, hey, we've got availability, a coach load has just cancelled or whatever, England's won the cricket a day early. How responsive can you be to send out a mailing with a really clear call to action? Tomorrow night, dinner, bed and breakfast, or £40 bar tab, and we'll give you your room for free, if you're a pub or whatever. How responsive can you be, and how does your booking engine and your all of your systems enable you to be quick and responsive? Yeah, that's an important thing too. I'm going to put myself on mute before I keep going.
Well, that's what I was saying about having packages in your back pocket ready to go. It's the same thing. Especially if you rely on that sort of trade, you're going to need it, won't you?
I think it's always something like that is always very contentious, because if a competitor isn't asking for a deposit up front, it's kind of very difficult to do it unless you sort of offer a really cheap rate to sort of, you guarantee that revenue, you guarantee that income, and then it's a selling incentive to people, whereas others will wait to the very last minute hoping that the market will be so full that they can get massive rates. It's often the case with things like that, and it's just judging the market really. But yeah, I mean, if you can get the deposits and then at the end of the day sell the room again because the people don't actually come, then that's added benefit, isn't it? Anybody else got it? Oh, there are some available to show cost savings made by direct book. Are there any statistics? Well, this is a famous one. Yeah, how much cheaper is it what is the average, as far as, because different OTAs are different amounts, but it tends to be around about 15%. I've seen up to 18% on booking.com and some, and it depends how much of your market is there, isn't it, really, as to how much you will save if they book direct. But I know I had a situation once where I ended up stuck in Bristol for a night, and I walked into a place and says, I saw on the internet that it was £60, and I says, well, I'll give you 55, knowing that they'd save themselves money. And say, oh no, sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And as so many hotels lose out on that, you know, somebody coming there and just saying, I'll give you a rate which is actually better than they actually get after their commission, and they just don't react to it. They just say, oh no, we can't do a deal. Oh no, when actually on the long run they actually would save money and make more profit out of those. And it's seen it so many times.
And it absolutely is possible to track that. The data exists to show exactly what your cost of acquisition is, what you're paying for commission for OTAs, for groups and conferencing, as well as your reservations fees, GDS fees, for example, versus your composite. That absolutely exists. Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to me about it, I'm happy to show anybody who'd like to see it.
Oh, what's one con is that if the advertised rate is 15%, then you pay commission on the VAT, and hence the effective commission is 1.2 times the quoted commission rate. So how do you mean, Eden, how do you mean by that? But because they're not VAT registered or something, or?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, you sell a room. I'll tend to use simple numbers, but let's say you sell a bedroom for, say, £100 on booking.com. Your take of it's only £83 because you pay VAT on it. Yeah. Obviously, booking.com, they'll tell you they're taking 15%, but they're taking 15% of a bigger number. Yeah. So really, they're actually taking 18% of your take of it, because they're charging you commission on the government's VAT. True.
And they're not charging you any VAT with that. So yeah. So
if they're telling you they're taking 15%, they're really taking 18% of what you're taking. If they tell you they're taking 20%, they're really taking 24%.
Yeah. Totally true. Yeah.
Obviously, that's not relevant to marketing. But one question I did have, I don't know whether this is the right forum, but is there sort of any sort of value in discussing sort of how marketing of weddings? Because obviously that's a big revenue stream. I don't know where that fits into this morning's forum, so apologies if I've taken it off a piece there. But is there any value in talking about marketing for weddings?
Yeah. I mean, many of our clients, if you see me asking me, many of our clients have host weddings, and we do marketing for that as well. Really hard to see the ROI because people don't book a wedding online and you can't see what revenue you're getting instantly. But understanding the market, if you're a large wedding venue, 100 to 150 plus, or if you're doing small, intimate, second time, understanding, who's likely to book with you and the booking window. So we know most people get the biggest window to get engaged is around Christmas. Amazingly, Christmas Day is the biggest engagement day. People change their Facebook status within 48 hours to say they're engaged. You can target people on Facebook who are engaged or newly engaged. You can target friends of people who are friends with someone who's newly engaged on Facebook. And we also know that brides and grooms pick their venue. I think it's within either 2 months or 3 months of getting engaged. So there's like really obvious times and quite simple processes you can set up to try and capture wedding inquiries and bookings. So there is definitely lots you can do. It is hard to track though. That's the only downside, because you're just basically sending email inquiries. Sorry, Kat.
So there is a really fantastic company, Wedding Dates. I'm sure you're aware of. You've heard of them, perhaps. Kira Crossan. Aidan, I don't know if you've heard of Wedding Dates, Kira Crossan.
Are they based in Ireland by any chance?
Yes, they are.
I think we came across them sort of pre-COVID, and maybe had a few conversations pre-COVID, but obviously COVID's kind of got in the way of a lot of conversations.
Yes. Well, Robin, if you don't know Kira, it'd be my pleasure to introduce her, because they would be a very, very good contributor to this forum, and they are a wedding specialist, and then also just in terms of nice things that you can do for wedding couples. When a couple books a wedding, give them a link that they can share when they send out their save the date by email, because lots of couples do a save the date by email now, and that link can go directly to a booking page for the specific dates for their wedding, and that takes the pressure off the wedding couple. Of course, they're not, you know, booking rooms for Auntie Jean from Glasgow and Auntie Mary from Scotland, you know, etc., etc. So there are things you can do depending on the booking engine side as well. But wedding dates are really, really good. I'll do a an introduction.
Cool. That'd be
to
fantastic.
and I'll share that with everybody as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kat.
Yeah, that's I always find the problem with weddings is that it is a lot more, it's more like a Facebook type thing than like any other kind of marketing, because people react, it's a lot more emotional, isn't it? I've seen so many stories as well of hotels that have lost their possibility to do a wedding because the couple have come for an evening meal or something like that and have had a bad experience. And you know, even though they've got all the publicity there saying, "How come and do your wedding?" They kind of just that operational fault, as it were, has cost them a wedding that could be built hundreds of thousands of pounds, even. You know, so it's
Definitely the biggest source of weddings is other successful weddings. And there's a hotel, there's a hotel called the Sligo Park Hotel, for example, in Sligo, which everybody from a particular village gets married in that hotel. Every single previous wedding has been faultless, and it's a virtuous circle. I'll mute myself again. If we may, Jane and I, Jane, do you want to introduce it, or should I go for it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hello, everybody. We are running two events actually in conjunction with RMS, which is going to cover all sorts of topics, including this. And both Kat and I are speaking at them. So we just thought we'd mention it. Now, one is, I just haven't got the dates in front of me, but one I think is on the 21st of September. That's the one in
Manchester.
And the week before that, no, the week after that. No,
the week before that.
Go on, you say.
Sorry, and the week before that is in Edinburgh, and that's indelibly in my brain because it's on the 15th of September in Edinburgh and the 21st of September in Manchester. And I've popped a link in the comments.
Can you pop me some information on my email, Kat or Jane, and I'll pop it into the summary that I send out post forum as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Any comments, advice, thoughts on how to get that marketing out? How to get those people interested in your hotel? No. Okay. Well, I think we'll round it up for today. Have a good day, and look forward to seeing you again in about a month's time. Slightly over a month, because I'm going to kick it back a week or two just to get it back into the middle of the month, because the pesky calendar keeps bringing me to the end of the month when it gets a bit more complicated. Okay.
Thanks, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Robin.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.